This weekend, Democratic presidential candidates will be heading to California for the DNC summer meeting. However, frontrunner and former Vice President Joe Biden will not be attending. Here to talk about this is Travis County Republican Party Communications Director Andy Hogue and Glenn Smith from Progress, Texas. Glenn, CNN's latest poll found almost 30% of registered Democratic voters would pick Biden as their candidate to take on Trump. What has Biden done to increase his lead?
He served as vice president for 8 years is the easy answer to that. He's much better known across America than any of the other candidates, so that gives him an edge in this early polling. Remember, this is the summer of 2019. The general election, even the primaries, are months away. So the one thing is clear to me from this polling and from polling that include Trump, Americans want somebody different in the White House. And right now, Biden has the edge on that. But if you notice, all the other many of the other Democratic candidates beat Trump in the head-to-head as well.
Okay. Andy Hogue, what does Biden's choice not to attend this weekend's meetings in California, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know if it means he's confident, but what it could mean is that it's very early. I mean, look here in Austin, we're still fighting the battle over the homeless camping issue, and there's a lot going on statewide, so maybe it's simply a matter of pragmatism, thinking that it's just not the time yet to really hit the campaign trail running.
You know, how the other candidates, Glenn, how do they catch Biden?
I think they have plenty of time to do it. I mean, Iowa doesn't happen for months and months. And so what's happening is they're focusing in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and South Carolina, those early primaries. Then the polls are done nationally. So most of these candidates aren't even campaigning in places where a large size of the sample of the polls are being taken. So they're not known. So what's going to happen is they'll raise their poll standings in those early primaries as we get closer and closer, those who remain in the race. And in the end, I think it's going to be close. I think the Democratic nominee is going to win, but I think the primaries are going to be close. I don't think Biden will have the kind of lead that we see reflected in these very early polls.
Andy Hogue, do you think Biden is going to be the one to go up against Trump in 2020? Again, as we're saying, it's very early still.
Right. Of course it's early, and I think right now it's the anybody but Trump phenomenon. We're going to see a lot of that going into 2020, of course. But right now, look at Joe Biden. I mean, like my friend Glenn said, lots of experience, no real scandals, doesn't drink a drop of alcohol. I mean, heck, I might vote for him.
You know, talking about all the candidates on the Democratic side, obviously still early, Glenn. You know, what's a strategy of some of these other candidates who are now trailing Joe Biden? What are some of the strategies going to be to go past him?
That's a great question. I actually think the general election electorate in 2020 is going to want a captain that can right the ship, that'll get us to calm seas. I don't think they want an experiment. I don't think they want somebody who's promising radical this or radical that. I think they want a stable return to American democracy and get this guy out of the kitchen, Trump I mean, before he breaks all the dishes and poisons all the food. So if I was giving advice to the other candidates, I would run as the stabilizer, as the woman who loved America and was going to right the ship before it's too late.
Does that kind of go against this trend of Democrats going further and further left?
Yeah, I think it might, because if you look at the fringe of the Democratic Party, the so-called Democratic Socialist, etc., that's out of step with polling. It's out of step with what the average American believes. So I think the Democrats would be right to agreeing with Glenn again to focus more on the center. But again, I think it's Trump's race to lose, and I expect him to be our president after 2020.
Okay, we will see. We've got to wrap it up. Glenn, Andy, thank you both very much.
Thank you, Mike.